Welcome to another episode of RawRadiantHealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it is Thursday, and it's getting towards the end of the week. We've had rain here in Montreal like all week. That's why it's always dark in here. It's because it's dark outside, and it gets dark really early as well. So it's been kind of gloomy here in Montreal, but hopefully by the weekend things will get a little bit more brighter. So today I want to talk about snacking. Okay, because I'm asked this a lot, is snacking good for weight loss? Is it better to eat 3 meals a day, or should someone be having 5 to 6 mini meals a day? Like, what's the best thing to do? And I've tried both, and I've had clients do both. And that's normally something I ask them is, what are they most comfortable with? Do they like to sort of graze on food all day, or do they like to sit down and have meals? And one thing that I've noticed over time watching people, and a lot of people, lose weight is they stick to eating 2 to 3 meals a day, and that's it, and no snacking in between. And I also find that is actually quite a good secret to longevity as well. And I find the number one reason for this is because when you're snacking all day, you tend to be eating more than you realize. Okay, a lot of times people don't realize when they're like eating a little bit of this and a little bit of that stuff, that food, it starts adding up. And I know a lot of times when, let's say, a mother's preparing food for their kids and their husband, and and they're, let's say, baking a dessert, right? And they say, oh, I'm so good on my diet, but when they're making the desserts and stuff, they're taking a little taste there and a little bite out of there, and and they got to try the final product, but they don't count that in to what they're eating all day. And so when you allow yourself to snack, you also sort of allow these little openings here and there of, oh, I can just try a little bit of that. It's no big deal. It's not going to affect my waist, right? But if you're constantly doing that, it does add up, and it adds up with everything else that you're munching on all day. So a lot of times snacking, it brings into the equation of not being so conscious of what you're eating compared to sitting down and having an actual meal. And when you sit down and have a meal, then you're aware of like what you're eating, what's on your plate, how many servings you're having of things, everything. But when you're like standing up and picking something out of the refrigerator, it's a different story, okay? So that's one reason. Another thing is that when you're snacking, you're not allowing your body to fully digest the food. That you're taking away energy that you can be using energy for other things and feel better, okay? And feel lighter and feel more alert throughout the day, everything. When you're constantly eating, that means you're constantly digesting. And someone that's having a snack or a mini meal every few hours, that means that their body is constantly focusing on breaking down that food. And a lot of times the food isn't being broken down and digested before you have your next snack, okay, or your next meal. And that's when you get into problems. You get into like feeling bloated all the time. You get into having digestive issues because you're never emptying your stomach. You're always just adding more and more and more into the mix, and the mix is not always that great. So when you're having, let's say, 3 solid meals a day, and you're allowing good 4 hours, 5 hours in between each meal, then you're really going to be able to digest the food and let it go through your stomach and get processed and eliminate it, and then put more food in. So you're giving, your body gets to target what's in front of it, it gets to break it down, digest it, and get rid of it in order to then open up a clear and clean space for the next round of food to come in, rather than it piling up and it's just been constantly like trying to keep up. You don't want to put your body under that stress of always just being able to keep up with things. You want it to be able to do its job and then be like, oh, I got some free time. Maybe I'll go and heal this inflammation I've got in this part of the body, or maybe I will give the body more energy, or, all of that. I mean, you feel the difference when you're not digesting all the time, when you feel lighter, you feel able to do more, you feel more alert, you feel energetic, and you just feel good, whereas if you're always digesting, you feel that. You feel tired, you feel lethargic, you feel just heavy all the time, Okay, so we want to get rid of that, and we want to get on to like feeling good in your body and, you know, feeling and seeing the progress. Another thing too about with the whole snacking thing is that, you know, a lot of times when you get in the habit of snacking, and this is what I found with myself, is that I lose the sensation of what it really feels like to be hungry. As simple as that is, it's a huge thing, because I think a lot of us out there don't even realize, what does it really feel to be hungry? And are we eating when we're really that hungry, right? I know from a lot of people that work at home, this is a big issue because, you know, they do have the refrigerator right near them, or someone that even works in an office that's got like a drawer full of snacks. It's like you're constantly feeding yourself. And when you think about it, you know, are you all that hungry when you're eating? Or are you eating for other reasons besides being hungry? Maybe out of boredom, or a need to be entertained, or just taking a break, that you always associate the food with the break. You know, what else are you going to do when you take a break, right? Besides eat. But you got to figure out other things to do in order to take a break that doesn't involve just eating just for the sake of eating, because it's not worth it. And it's gonna slow down your progress, especially if you want to lose that weight. You know, like if you're trying to maintain your weight or gain weight, I'd say snacking is a great thing, and definitely go into it. But if you're trying to lose weight, I would really suggest to have 3 meals a day, and have substantial meals. You know, a real hearty meal that's going to keep you satisfied for 4 hours. You know, but that by the end of the 4 hours to 4 to 5 hours, you start feeling hungry. That's a good thing. Feeling hungry is not a bad thing. You just got to get comfortable with it, and you've got to accept, you know, that this is part of what it feels like, and this is a part of preparing a beautiful meal and enjoying a meal. I mean, there's nothing like being hungry and eating something. I'd say you enjoy that meal so much more than when you just eat for the sake of eating, even when you're not hungry. Does it taste as good as it tastes when you are starving and you're famished and you just need to eat something? Whatever you eat is going to taste phenomenal. Okay, so we want to work up that appetite, because that means that your body is also signaling to you that it's ready for the food, rather than just always bombarding yourself with food and putting extra stress. I mean, we've got enough stress in our daily life. Why should we add more? Okay, so that's my little weight loss tip for the day. And I'm wishing you guys a fabulous, fabulous day, and I hope you guys get some sunshine, and I hope some sunshine comes my way one of these days, right? So have a fabulous day again, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!